Hello, everyone. So, this is a request I got from Instagram, one of my friends on Instagram. Speak on faith. Oh, there's a lot I could talk about. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. There are so many passages in Scripture about faith. Oh, man. If you have the faith of a mustard seed, you could tell this mountain to cast itself into the ocean, and it will be done for you. Nothing will be impossible for you. But what is faith? How does it work? Where does it come from? I mean, faith is, well, faith is beautiful, you guys. After 7 years of following Yeshua, Jesus, what can I say about faith? Faith is about trust. It's about knowing who God is. That pretty much sums it up. The more you know who God is, the more faith you have. The more you realize who He is, what He can do, that He is God, the only God, the one who created the universe and the one who created the earth and everything on it and in it. Like, I'm tearing up just thinking about God and how, like, His majesty and His power. But to learn to hope and to trust in God and God alone. Jeremiah 17:5, Yahweh speaking, Abba Father speaking, he says, "Cursed is the man who trusts in mankind." Okay. In other words, you cannot put all of your hope, your faith, and your trust in one specific person. Guaranteed they will let you down in some shape, way, or form. Only God will never let you down. But that's beside the point. The point is, for 7 years, I've been called by God to do the craziest things, like don't get a job, work for me, I will pay you. So, in other words, Matthew 10, go take nothing with you on your journey, find a worthy person to stay with. If the house is deserving, let your peace rest upon it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. Okay. I've been doing this for 7 years, not working, trusting God to provide for me. And for 7 years, He has always provided me a place to live, food, clothes, water, just through my obedience. Now, there's that, and also I have prayed for many people for physical issues. And I'll say easy 99% of them get healed, but Jesus healed me of a inoperable back injury back in 2014. It was September 17th of 2014. And ever since then, I've been praying for people. And when you see something happening over and over and over, the consistency, your faith will increase. Okay? Because you are starting to realize no matter what, He is faithful. He will come through. Now, with that said, there's something you guys have to keep in mind. Please do not pray and ask God for more faith. Do not do that. Because if you do that, I am warning you right now, tests, trials, tribulation, it will come. I can guarantee it, because there's over 40 verses in Scripture that state in order for faith to grow, it has to be tested. Okay? So I'll give you one example. James chapter 1, I believe it's verse 1, 2, 3. It says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you're faced with trials of many kinds, because you know in the," right here, "testing of your faith, it produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, that you may become mature, complete, not lacking anything." So there's one about testing of the faith. 1 Peter chapter 1, around verse 5, 6, 7. It talks about testing of the faith. So for faith to grow, it has to be tested. Okay? So I do not recommend anybody pray and ask God for faith. unless you are understanding that you will be tested in this. Because, well, just think of a relationship, uh, even in regards to marriage. The whole idea of courting a woman and getting to know the woman, or the woman getting to know the man, is to see the consistency, right? So the more we walk with Jesus, the more we realize he is unchanging, he's unfailing, he is constant, he is consistent, he does not change. And through this, our faith starts to grow and develop more and more and more. Um, Something that's coming to mind right now is, I believe it's Matthew 17. Jesus came down from the Transfiguration and he chose his disciples in Matthew 4. So it's about a year and a half later. And then he says to the 9 disciples, I'll explain that in another recording, because Peter, James, and John were with Jesus. They walked down the Transfiguration on the mountain. They walked down with him, so they're ideally behind him because they follow Jesus. Then there's a man who has a son who's demon possessed, and he says, I've asked your disciples to heal him, but they could not do it. Now, obviously, Peter, James, and John was not one of the 3 disciples because they were with Jesus on the Transfiguration. So Jesus speaks to the 9 and he says, you wicked and perverse generation, how much longer should I stay with you? How much longer should I put up with you? Okay? And yet he stays with them another year and a half plus to show them, here is who I am. I will not change. I am constant. I'm consistent. I want to heal everyone. I want to show you guys how to love accordingly, so on and so forth. Okay? So over a X amount of time following Jesus, your faith will eventually increase, 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 increase. Will there be days of doubt? Well, of course. Like, there's a lot of times things are uncertain, they're unsure. But you got to keep one thing in mind. When it comes to scripture and all the stories I can read in scripture, all of them, God comes last minute. He always shows up on the last minute. And he does this because if he showed up every time we needed him right away, our faith would never grow. But he will show up at rock bottom, last minute, and you'll find this in scripture all the time. Like one example, Moses is caught at the end of the bank of the Red Sea with the most powerful army in the world breathing down his neck. Okay? In other words, he's in big doo-doo. It's like game over and a story. Or Daniel thrown in the lion's den. You see what I mean? Like this, I could go on and on and on of stories like this in scripture where it looks like there's about to be a period, game over in a story, but God is putting a comma because the story is not over yet. And it's in those moments that God comes, that he may get the glory. Only he wants the glory to himself. He says it, I am not sharing my glory with anybody. He wants to have all the glory. So keep that in mind when it comes to faith. All just thoughts for you. If this was helpful, please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Feel free to share your thoughts with me. Share this with your friends if you found it encouraging, and please subscribe, and I will post another audio teaching within 3 to 4 days.